You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Phylip Griffiths.
Welcome to Tech for Tech Tech Talk. This is a live show where we discuss different ways to help your IT business grow. If you did not know from the intro, I'm Phil Griffiths and I'm your host for today. Today's episode is Distribution is Broken. Welcome to the new way of working. Today we're joined by Phylip and Tom from Pax8. There we go. Right. Okay. So first of all, can you guys let us know if you can hear and see us? Obviously, that'll make sure that we're not just talking to ourselves. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty boring show. Also, if you are in the Tech for Tech's Facebook group, so your name can be shown, please click the link I'm going to put in chat just about now. If it lets me, there we go, which allow your name to be actually shown. So yeah, it looks like we've got a few people watching. So hi Richard, hi Bruno, and hi Peter. Right, let's move on. So again, if you guys have got any questions for the guys at Pax8 today, feel free to ask. They'll answer a lot of the questions at the end, but obviously depending on what we're doing at the time, we might be able to answer straight away. Also, hi to Cormy, and we've got Richard saying he can hear us, so that's good news. Right, okay, so let's have a look. So first of all, if you guys want to introduce yourself, let us know who you are and basically what you do. What's your job at Pax8? And, well, basically let us know who you are. That's all we need to know. So let's start with you, Phylip, first, if you want to let everyone know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Phylip Morgan. I'm a former retailer and former VAR, former MSP, and now I am Chief Channel Officer for Pax8 UK.
Right, thank you. And on to Tom. So, Tom, who are you and what do you do?
Hey guys, yeah, Tom Welton here, solutions engineer. I'm a wingman or a wingmate, so it's very much of the spirit of some of the branding around us here. I assist in pre-sale, post-sale, consultative, things like that. Let's talk about SaaS. Let's talk about software licensing. And kind of the journey as a whole is what my scope is. So wear a couple of hats here at Pax8.
Okay, that's pretty good. Well, before we go into it, I'm going to ask you guys sort of a random question. Oh, it's not really random. A lot of people have been asking me, is basically how can you guys really help them? They're like small retailers, independent shops, stuff like that, who want to repair computers and they just want to move on to the next level and they've got no idea what they're doing with cloud sort of things. They're more hands-on type of jobs, screwdrivers and stuff like that. So they want to know how you can actually help them. So I'm guessing I'm going to pass that one over to Phylip.
So thanks for the question and guten Nacht to you as well, Rahim. Good to have you join us tonight as well. So the easiest way for me to do that is for us to go back in time, Phil. If we go back around 10, 15 years ago, what you would have experienced going into a typical retailer, PC repair shop, kind of a typical tech for tech store was you would have things like boxed products. They were yellow with certain brands on them if they were AV. They'd have Windows logos on them if they were a certain other company. And we would all make money off of selling that kind of software. Those boxes are not there. The end shelf unit is not there anymore. There are some vendors that are still left doing it because everything has moved to the cloud and subscription-based products and services. And what makes that really difficult for a retailer is normally they're not set up to do online transactions and to have the vehicle that goes with monthly billing, etc. So where we help is we help turn those old sales that you've lost for licensing or subscriptions, and we provide a way for you to be able to re-enter that market and to not only sell a laptop or a piece of hardware to a customer, but sell them AV, backup, Windows software, whatever you want on a subscription basis. And we help you do that as a retailer or a PC repair shop.
Right, okay. I think that pretty much answers the question. I think we can end the show now, can't we? I think it's answered everything. Gives me an early night. Right, okay. Okay, well, at least you got it sorted, David. You can actually hear him now. So I'll try and boost him a little bit from this end for you as well. So, right, there we go. Right, so also there's a competition going today, guys. It's basically, we've got 10 lots of merch packs and Deliveroo credit to go. So if you need a new pair of socks, a pen, a notebook, t-shirt, I know I do. I've got religious socks at the moment, should we say, and Deliveroo credit worth 40 quid, basically. If you're interested in that, make sure you go to this link I'm putting in now. That will basically allow you to basically, well, give you a chance of winning. The winner will be, or the 10 winners will be picked randomly. So obviously I'm guessing that's going to be done after the show, so they'll let you know after the show's been live, and let me know and I'll notify you guys or whatever, or they'll notify you as well. So make sure you do click the link. Well, I'm just putting it in the chat now. There you go. So you should be able to click on that one. If not, well, tough luck. I'm going to share it in here as well for you, and I'm also going to put it on the screen. And as you can see, it says to win, go to surveymonkey.com/r/tech with the number 4 techs. Okay, so if you want to win, chance to win, make sure you click on that link and you go to it and fill in your details, and you've got a chance of winning. So, and again, you get a nice pair of socks, pen, notebook, t-shirt, and some Deliveroo credit, which is probably ideal for Sunday night at maybe around about 8 o'clock, and make the delivery drivers drive around while the football's on and be really cruel about it. But there you go. Right. Okay, so let's move on to the main show itself. So I think we're going to go to Tom first. I think he's got a bit of a demonstration or letting us know how it works and so forth. So if you would like to take over from here then, Tom.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we'll definitely share out my screen here and show you a little bit through our portal and stuff. But maybe it helps to give a little bit of background about who Pax8 is, where we come from, why are we here now. So yeah, the quick of it is that I've been around since 2012, so relatively new as an organization. Headquarters are in Denver, Colorado, USA. Believe it or not, that's where I recently came from. So I didn't know if you caught my accent there. Kansas originally before that. But yeah, I've been growing up through that market and everything, established ourselves very well against some very, very strong competition in the United States, which has hardened us into a very successful MSP and one that has adapted quicker, faster. We're able to implement changes on a more rapid type than maybe some of our bigger competition has, which has led to tremendous success. And so now, I'm honored to be talking to you from Bristol. So having the opportunity to move over here to our headquarters that we do have in Bristol, have an office in Farnborough, and then looking to expand elsewhere. Just because I think kind of in a post-COVID situation here, maybe we're not all going to be stacked in a skyscraper building at any one point. It's kind of a distributed horizon as far as that work from home.
That's whereabout in Kansas? Whereabout in Kansas you're from?
Topeka, the capital.
All right, there we go. Mm-hmm. I've been to Wichita.
Okay, good. Yeah,
many years ago, but yeah, so nice flat place. So it's very flat, let's be sure. So right, okay. I think Philip as well had something to say before you wanted to go on to the demonstration. Am I correct, Philip?
Yeah, I'm going to dive in and just say, look, we're here to serve you all today. And just to be clear, although he originates from Kansas and Colorado, he is talking to you live from Bristol today. So he has come over. He lives here in Bristol. So there's an American accent. We here are providing UK-based support for all of our partners and contributing to the UK economy. So that's really important to us here. We're not one of those US companies that takes all the dollars and puts them overseas, right? So all I wanted to say is fire some questions. We're starting with one right now, if I can, Tom. Chris Hodgkiss is saying, Microsoft are frustrating me. Been waiting weeks to sort my MSP partner application. Can you chase it up for me? That's a typical thing we receive every day, isn't it, Tom? How do we fix it?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So that's what let us leverage our relationship with Microsoft. And so that's what very much we're in communication with Microsoft. At this point, we've even scooped up a couple of ex-Microsoft employees even to really build out our expertise with that. So again, that's where that benefit comes to. What Philip had said there, we do have 24/7 local-based support. Yet the American presence here, I think, is under 10 total bodies, whereas we're approaching 100 total out here in the States. And so very much, hiring locally, employing locally, and things like that as well, just to empower the United Kingdom and then Greater Europe as we continue to move forward into it. But yeah, Chris, absolutely. I know that that can be a frustrating process. It can be the runaround. It's pure luck from my experience. Unfortunately, it just depends who picks up that ticket on the Microsoft side, and whether they're willing to go that extra mile, or sadly sometimes just give it that cookie cutter copy paste response. But yeah, definitely that's something that you can reach out to us with. We'll hop on, take a look at your partner center, see if there's anything we missed or anything that we can reapply, and then most certainly, coach either the next steps with it, or leverage our contacts in order to push that forward. So absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, he's saying that there's been a problem or a fault in the system or something along the lines. So, which is good.
So Chris, we'd like to serve you straight away. If you can send an email to us, we'll help you out with that right now. Just drop an email directly into us, and we'll post those at the end. So you've got contact details. But delighted to get one of our wingmen to sort that out for you tomorrow morning, Chris, and pester Microsoft for you so you can carry on with running your store.
That's pretty good. First question I've got actually is for Tom. How are you finding it without air conditioning?
Similar to Colorado, actually. So it's one of those locations. Many people don't know that Colorado is a very dry place. Actually, the Front Range of Denver is technically considered a desert, just because we do lose more water, and then we get a couple of feet of snow every winter to really put it back in a couple of big storms. But yeah, no, it's been great. So nothing too extreme by any means. I do miss the thunderstorms, though. I was expecting a little bit more thunder and lightning. But yeah,
I'm gonna say the missus, or the owner of Tech for Tech, she's from Alabama anyway, so she's used to air conditioning. So over here, when it's hot, it's like, why do you people not have air conditioning? Every civilized country in the world has it, sort of thing. Well, we don't over here because we only get summer about 3 days a year normally, but it's not usually worth it to put it in. But anyway, let's get on to the main topic. So I'll pass it back over to you, Tom.
Perfect. Yeah. And so what I can do here now is just maybe share out my screen, show you guys an introduction to what the platform looks like, maybe try to answer some of the general questions. But yeah, the best way to get a deep dive tour would be to go ahead and, partner up with us, give us a call, let's sit down, schedule out an hour, really give you the one-on-one focus that you deserve. Either let us talk at you for an hour about it, or we can have a collaborative conversation about that. So we can sit there and talk about, how you currently manage your SaaS and what that life cycle looks like from the beginning of the user to the end of the user, and the decommissioning of it. To quote our VP of International Sales, Aaron Watts, it's the story of the mailbox, and it's a deceptively simple concept. But if you really tackle that story of that mailbox, everything else falls into place around it. So whether that's the user, whether that's the identity that uses that mailbox, and then, of course, getting into backing up that mailbox, protecting that mailbox from malicious events, protecting that mailbox from you and I. Human beings are actually the one of the bigger threats, and so I'm a huge proponent, and looking into security that it's the human being, and that security awareness training, I think, is going to be one of those things that catches fire in the next couple of years, because the smarter that you and I are, and the more windows we can close as human beings, and less mistakes we make, drastically improves our security posture. So. Perfect. Let me go ahead and share out my screen and we can jump right in.
No problem.
All right, let's see here.
We'll let you do it. Here we go.
Perfect. All right.
There
so this is, you guys should be looking at one potential landing page here for the Pax8 platform, as we call it. This is our, this is our website. This is where you would go to order, manage SaaS products, open up a support ticket with our 24/7 free support. You can always give us a call as well. There's always a human being available. We do have the chat bots, and so we're really taking care of that equation, whether or not you want a human being involved in contacting us. That's what we give you, the options of both. But yeah, very, very interesting metrics and things like that we're able to see. So I do have my sales layout as one particular one, just because at the organization, you may be a decision maker. You may be more inclined to be looking at the big picture, the trends of things. And so we can see things like revenue history. We do break up the cloud into a couple of different categories, which make it easier for us to identify gaps in that. And so that's what, being able to compare some of these things side by side helps us see our stack utilization. You can see things like total spend, recurring growth, and attrition. And you'll notice I've got, kind of an odd looking yellow color there. That's because all of this is very customizable. So white labelable, brandable portal. I can come in here. I can change this to anything to, match my local branding if I need to. You know, and then of course have something that's very, very fitting to what I use. You know, and it's not just you and I as the user here, but we also do provide a fantastic kind of self-service aspect as well. So we are able to provide, you know, a login for that end user, that end customer. If they're just a little bit tech savvy, you want to go ahead and empower them to maybe cut you out of that conversation. Hey, I need a license. I need it yesterday. Let me log on and just order it for myself just because I have that power. You know, our platform does allow you to do that. And it does allow you to do it very, very securely. So we employ MFA and 2FA, following Microsoft's lead in that. We've got role-based access control, a couple of different roles inside of it, you know, as well as kind of releasing additional features to connect to our platform. So we've just recently launched our SSO and our open APIs. And so that's what we do, support a couple of PSA integrations that I'll talk about how we fix the billing in all this. But yeah, very, very recently I've kind of opened up our API. So very, very excited to see what the community is going to do with that. Yeah, let me potentially show you another couple of windows here, just because this is the you know, the sales layout, but maybe that's not you know, particularly keen for what I'm looking for. Here's another one here, Tom's homepage, just kind of a separate looking account. I've thrown a couple of iframes in here. This is nothing more than me just, you know, chucking in an HTTPS website, running it against an iframe, and all of a sudden I've got my you know, pulse on the channel as it was here, just to keep an eye on a couple of alerts. And then as well, we know that there just may be that frontline technician. You may just be in the trenches solving, you know, problems, kind of in that break fix status. So what's important to me about that, you know, keeping that Azure board right here up in front, just another iframe, and then I'm able to get some great metrics on things like, you know, subscriptions that I've maybe made changes to, or those customers have made changes to. You know, what my support tickets look like, you know, what kind of release notes we're offering there. You know, and again, we're always moving forward. So these are always, you know, full of really great data and things like that as well. Yeah, maybe just navigating through a few of what the, you know, a couple of things look like. Here is what kind of a multi-company view would be. And so again, kind of, yeah, multi-tenancy, doing more, not having 10 different logins for 10 different companies is very much where we wanted to go with all this. And so you can see here, I've got a list of a couple of different companies, and then of course, very, very easy for me to drill into these individually. You can see here kind of picking on the Bristol Aquarium, but you know, who's the information, what are they all about? There's that self-service aspect I talked about, you know, and we have this in steps. It's not just a simple black and white, turn it on, you know, enable that self-service. And then this is the key metric. This is what I love about this, because you may not have that trust with that end customer. You may have a great relationship. You may love that end customer, but maybe empowering them to be clicking around in the licensing portal isn't something you're fully up to speed with. You know, do this order approval required, you know, give them access to the platform, let them log in, let them build out a couple of licenses, and then it'll send you an email. It'll go ahead and email you, you'll look it over, team can give it your rubber stamp of approval, and then be able to set that through. And so I think that's a great way to go ahead and build trust with that, those end users, and really kind of empower them to take hold of their technology, and or get some of that stuff done faster, because when you do turn the order approval required off, they click submit, go straight through to our API. And when I mean straight through, I mean instant provisioning. So by the time you can log into portal.office.com, those licenses are there very, very immediately, just because that that dev team based back in Denver, Colorado has been fantastic. Yeah, and I do see, yeah, the comment there from Facebook user, yeah, Pax8 for the last week. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the feedback. It is incredibly fast, and how yeah, how it's all designed and everything. And so truly navigating through everything is, you know, just very, very rapid. So here you can see I've got a little bit of a larger account going. I've got, you know, 1,200 some odd products, 117 different subscriptions, and, you know, flexible search bars. And so I could type in something like the word Nova into there, for example. So I'm going to pull up, you know, a company called Nova School of Mines, a couple of subscriptions that are maybe active for that Nova School, or maybe, you know, something with Nova SOC. It looks like it found that, you know, product right there. Nova SOC is a SOC as a service, kind of an interesting concept, something reserved for larger enterprises. Has now made its way to the small and medium business sphere. This is a great way to go ahead and outsource a very human resource, very, you know, we can't just keep throwing bodies at these problems. Yeah, you know, has been particularly interesting, you know, one of many vendors that we've added to our line card here recently.
So before Tom jumps in and talks to you all about how we would provision, say, an Office 365 account, okay? Mm-hmm. Can I just come back out for a minute? And for some of you maybe that are watching the show and wondering, like, where is Tom and Phil going with all of this? You know, I don't do B2B. I don't supply any of these products and services. Remember the story that I said at the beginning, which is 10 years ago, you would have been selling Symantec box product, Office, you know, student and teacher edition as a box product. There's an opportunity with you partnering Pax8 to re-enter that market. So let me explain how it works. Some of you that are on this call, on this show, have made the decision. There was someone earlier, Bruno Matos, was saying you've just started doing small business maintenance contract. You're looking at MSP. How can we help you with contracts, etc., moving forward? So there's demand coming into your store or your repair shop from people that are coming in saying that they want to buy these products or buy these services. So how can we help? Well, we're going to post a link in at the moment. There's two ways for you to sign up and deal with Pax8. There's one method where you do the billing yourself. And there's a second method where we will do the billing for you and send you a commission check. Okay, so some of you will be familiar with, lots of you, I remember when I had a retail business, I built a big business around BullGuard services, right? It allowed me to sell an initial box product. So somebody would come in and they'd buy a laptop and a printer and they'd buy a webcam and they'd buy all of this. And then they'd start asking me, well, I want to use Microsoft Word and I need AV protection and I need all of that. And historically, we would have sent them out of our stores, guys, wouldn't we? With like a big box of products and everything loaded into the boot of the car and said, tell your old customer, we'll see you again, give us a call when you've got a problem. But now we're in a subscription-based world. So we're not renewing a product that somebody comes back in and buys the 2022 version of an AV. People are buying a monthly subscription. But most of us are small retailers. We're not set up with direct debit and everything. Allow us, so the first way you can partner with us is to just be what we call an agent. And you would sell the first month. So Tom is going to show you a system right now where you could supply a simple, say to a small business owner, you could provide them with a Microsoft Office Business Edition, simple, like £3.80 entry-level product. You could sell them that product on a subscription, set up the billing to start with them in 3 days' time once they got home and set everything up, or you could do it in the workshop. And then from then on, they would pay that £3.80 payment to us directly, because we'd claim it by a direct debit and give you the commission back. So we take all the pain, but you manage the customer from inside the portal that you provide them, either for the small business owner or for that prosumer or end user that's working from home. So that's the opportunity of you being able to get into cloud services and sell a lot of security products, Microsoft Office, productivity, and a pile of different tools. So back to you, Tom. We just post that link there of how you can work with us, and you can see the sign up. You can either become a provider or you can become an agent, depending on whether you want to bill and own the relationship or whether you want us to bill for you. So back to you, Tom.
Before you go on, Tom, just one sec. One thing I'd just like to say from our point of view is, if you're selling, obviously, normally box products and stuff, it's a lot of money you've got to spend on stock to have in your store. You could spend hundreds and thousands, where obviously these guys, well, you just buy it when you need it and so forth. You don't have to basically have a shelf full of Microsoft Office and, let's just say, BullGuard or Norton or whatever. Sorry to say Norton, because I know a lot of you out there don't like Norton, but anyway, but whatever the product may be, you don't have to have it in your store. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to spend thousands of pounds to keep all these things in stock. You can just basically, well, sort of rent the service from these guys. I'll pass it back over to Tom anyway.
No, absolutely great points. On-demand licensing, and what that means as well is that, short 30-day terms on these licenses mean that I don't get trapped into a contract for a year or 3 years or however long that might be. And so that's what the flexibility is what those consumers want. They're certainly not going to sign away their next 2 years for stuff, because I don't know what I'll be doing in 6 months. I mean, the world's moving very fast. The cloud is moving even faster than that. And so the fact that we can turn that license on immediately, calculate out that pro rata, that prorated charge, and collect that half a month bill and things like that are where we've really excelled with it all. And then billing, nobody, there are people out there that like billing, I guess, but the vast majority of us find it difficult, tough. I've got 10 different bills at 10 different times in the month from 10 different vendors for 100 different customers, and all of a sudden it accumulates to quite literally a mountain of paperwork. They used to hold up a 300-page packet from one of our competitors when I came to Pax8, and they're like, here's a printed out Pax8 bill, and it was 2.5 pages or something like that compared to a very thick tome. And that's that's the benefit, is we're able to aggregate all of our vendors onto a single bill that'll come once a month. That will contain every single subscription. We'll capture that change, and so we'll put those recurring ones, as well as that one-time charge for that partial when you added 2 more mailboxes halfway through the month, and we calculated that out very, very perfectly. All that's going to be very, very apparent, and then doubly so if you're using a PSA tool. And so we do support kind of formal integrations with ConnectWise, Autotask, Synchro, and then Kaseya BMS are kind of 4 of our really big ones as well. So and maybe let me just step through the ordering process here and just show you what that would look like. So you just please forgive my US dollars here. Of course, we do support GBP and are looking to release our platform supporting several, if not dozens of currencies here in the immediate future. So what I have inside of my catalog, you can see the ability to browse between a couple of different Microsoft products. We've got a few other vendors there for kind of tackling that entire equation. Clicking into it, it's going to be very plain language. This wasn't, you don't need a degree in technology to know what you're looking at, be able to navigate our website. It's going to be very, very simple terms. I'd like to, go ahead and buy a seat of business standard. So I'm going to go ahead and check out, come into here, maybe find which company I'm going to buy that for. So, I've got a Blue Sky Group. Looks like they already have one on file there for it. We'll take some information, a little bit about who that customer is. Primarily we'll take that domain or that tenant ID. So, essentially that kind of numerical value. In the United States, we call it a social security number, that kind of unique identifier of that Microsoft tenant. And then be able to spin up that license. And so that'll very much include the ability to put, an effective date on when that license would take place. And so let me go ahead and find, I've got a subscription here that I've just got queued up. And then maybe, more so that more voluminous action is going to be the maintenance of that license. And so once that license is in place, how quickly can I go in and just add another license and then capture that change? And so, here you can see I've got a kind of a swath of different Microsoft licenses. You can see, what that license is, how many I currently have, and very, very easy to come in here and manage this. So I can go ahead and, drill deeper into the subscription itself. And we're going to tell you a lot about that license as well. So, loading up the subscription history down here, I'm going to be able to track that, through its entire lifetime. And so that's what it'll go all the way back, to the initial order. Who was that initial order, came in at 5 units, it was ordered by me, and then the ability to track ourselves, other administrators, those self-service users, and so kind of that digital paper trail of that license, kind of throughout time. You can see all the plus and minuses, and again, very, very easy to curate all this stuff. We credit to the dev team back in Denver again for doing this. I can go ahead and toggle it up by 3 if I just need to add 3 quick mailboxes. There's that provisioning date, so I can kick that out. The reason that we have that future effective date is, there's project days, there's very busy days. Maybe I know that Monday the 19th, I've got a lot of on-premise work to do. I'm going to be in the field the entire day. So what I can't do is click and wait, and then click and wait, and then click and hope, and then click and wait again, like some of the ordering experiences we see. So if I set this to the 19th, we do front end validation on our ordering. And so I don't want to go too deep into the technical, but it means that we measure twice, so that we only cut once, to use one of my Kansas settings there with it. We're going to check out everything so that we know with a very high degree of confidence that license is going to spin up. It's going to be in that portal.office the morning of that project. And you've taken 2 things off your checklist for the day. You've ordered that license, and you've squared away the billing and the financials. And so I've got that things off the plate, just because that Monday I'm going to hit the ground running and do the really important things as far as field work goes, and or configuration and things like that in other platforms. Very, very easy to just, hit those T's and C's, submit the order. And quite truly, it does move that fast. And so that's one of the things here that, we get kind of disbelief is just how fast does this platform work. As you're seeing it here, as soon as I could log into portal.office, these 3 Exchange Online places would be there, and then we offer the ability to go ahead and sync that. So let's go ahead and capture this information in one of our PSA tools. And so we do support the 6 ones you can see there with Autotask, ConnectWise, Kaseya, Repair Shopper, Synchro, and TigerPaw. But again, we've now opened up our APIs. And so if you do have somebody particularly savvy, if you played around with some APIs, we've got some great documentation to get you started. Build out your own integration into it. Get very customize into it. We want to kind of empower everybody along with it. Kind of showing you a little bit more into what this integration is going to look like. You can see it there. I just kind of clicked it once. It just loaded through a couple of different windows. It's checking all that homework. We've already done all the work. It's going to remember everything after that first time through. So we're going to check that connection. And so whether we're using ConnectWise or Autotask, Synchro, any of those, it's not going to matter. It's all just an API user. It takes about 15 minutes real world deployment time, something to go ahead and stand up. And again, you have that connection in place. We'll make sure that those entities are talking to each other. So does the entity, that company I call the aquarium, does that tie to that, that company I have in Autotask or ConnectWise called Aquarium? They are talking to each other. Again, we'll go check on those products as well. So does that Exchange Online Plan 2 match my EOP 2 there? Does my Business Basic here still match a thing called Business Essentials that I forgot to relabel on my PSA platform? So, like to like, matching those products together. And then hitting that recurring term of service. And so again, ConnectWise calls this agreements. Autotask, these are your contracts. Kaseya, these are your contracts. Synchro, it's your recurring invoices there for a little bit different terminology. Again, this is all the same stuff here, guys. This is just the recurring terms of service. You can see there, smart logic built into the platform, very plain language. Hey, we found this before, we've seen it. Would you like to update that existing line item to go from 25 to 28? Or would you like us to create a new line item? So that's what giving you the flexibility. We'll go ahead and cancel that out and push that there. And so we do offer a lot of flexibility in the way you can push this across, throwing various descriptions and things like that in there. And here, again, capturing that partial month charge. This is just revenue leakage in its barest form. And unfortunately, you guys are on the receiving end of this a lot of the time, simply because customers can't be bothered with this, and or you don't want to rock the boat by giving them this weird partial month charge for spinning up a license. And so oftentimes we just have to eat that cost, for lack of a better way of saying it. Here's a really great and clean way to capture that line item. Again, we're going to present that data very clearly. We increase that quantity by 3. We're at 28 right there. There's the corresponding financials for it. And we're going to be very, very plain in the way that displays on that final bill and invoice. So we'll put those dates directly into there. We'll tell you that we turn it on today. We're going to run this until the end of the month, and that's exactly what it's going to look like there. And so being able to pass across that charge, again, for a future effective date, it's not even the 19th yet, but I'm going to go ahead and get this license queued up and be able to capture those materials. Give you one kind of chance here to kind of look at exactly that information. We'll tell you again, plain language, we're going to update that ConnectWise edition. This is, your services or your recurring services inside of those PSA tools. You can see there, it's going to be monthly for 28 units. That's exactly what I want. I want to charge them for 28 mailboxes every month. And it's just going to go ahead and keep recurring like that. Whereas we'll go ahead and add a second line item there for that Proration Edition. So this will be a new ConnectWise edition, as you can see it. You can see it's going to be a one-time charge for those 3 units. It'll kick in there for those particular dates, and it's a little bit more subtle, but you can see an end date there has been specifically added. So once you pass this across, you don't have to remember to go in and turn it off. You don't have to sit there, wake up in the middle of the night, look at your ceiling, and be, oh no, did I capture that, or did I leave something running that's still been billing from 3 months ago? You don't have to worry about that, because we'll go ahead and terminate those with one-time charges with those end dates. Confirming the sync, it'll all work very rapidly. So again, you're seeing a common theme here. Speed's of the essence. There's just not enough time in the day, not enough days in the week. I think everybody can empathize with this. So here we are. You see successfully updated, created, our various line items, and then from that, I can either go back and check my homework. You can see an unsync subscriptions there, a couple of different ways to go about it. And here I can track that. So, in the future, I can come in and see, now we're at 28. Those will go effective on the 19th for me here. It was ordered by me, and it's provisioning. So it's in status. It's not active yet. We're queuing that change to go up. But we did capture that change. And so it's very, very clear to me there that this, synced over a couple of seconds ago. Perfect. So and kind of the ordering and everything like that there. I might turn it back over to Philip here. Do you guys have any other questions about that? You guys want me to go into anything particular here? Otherwise I can maybe touch on a few other features here within the platform for us.
Right. Okay. What I'm gonna say is, I do suggest a lot of you guys who are watching at least have a look at this. If you're not sure exactly what you're looking at, you're confused with all the numbers and all the stuff, and you're thinking, I have no idea what he's talking about, reach out to them. They will help you. But let me put it this way. You can make reoccurring money or income very easily using a service like this. And for a store this day and age, especially with what's been going off over the last year, who would say no to money coming in on a monthly basis or yearly basis through contracts and stuff? Believe it or not, on my store, which is Chips Computers, we started doing reoccurring billing for people for like security, online backup and stuff like that. Oh, it must be roughly about 6 years ago, I think it was now, off the top of my head. And now we basically pay all our bills, our rents, electricities, all our costs just from the income we make from our recurring billing. So we can basically close the store pretty much through the whole coronavirus pandemic and don't have to worry about it because we've still got we've got money coming in no matter what. And it takes time to build up. Yes, but you've got that reoccurring money coming in on a monthly or yearly basis, depending on how you're billing and so forth, with ease. And usually once you set it up, there's not much you have to do after that. You just got the money coming in and you may never even see the customer for another year or two or whatever. It just keeps billing them every month and you don't have to worry about it. Right, let me pass you back over to Philip and Tom. Obviously, they can sell it better to you than I can, but I would really suggest you do look into getting some sort of reoccurring billing set up, whether it's through these guys or someone else, because it will cover your backs. I think you're muted, Philip. Okay. Tom, can we hear you?
Yep, mic check here.
Yeah, Tom's working. Unfortunately, Philip, you're silent.
Am I working now?
Don't hear anything.
Yep, I got you here, Phil. Yep, Philip, I heard you there for a second.
Can you hear me? Yeah, Phil. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. If you can all hear me, hopefully.
Okay, I'm not hearing him at all.
Yep, yeah, I can hear him, Phil.
Okay, that's very strange. Let me.
I can hear both of you guys. Yeah.
That's very weird. Okay, let me just disable you a sec, Phil, and I'll bring you back in. Okay,
I think at least every live demo needs needs a little bit of
needs a bit of excitement. You got to shut. Yeah, well, call me. Tell me. It was just you, Phil, that couldn't hear me. What a disappointment to everyone. Everyone else can hear.
It's these cheap computers what we build. That must be the problem. But yeah.
Yeah. So what I was about to say, Phil, was just echoing what you said. Right. It's the fear of getting started a lot of the time and getting into the unknown. Right. And all of you have already done it. Right. You know, there was a time where we weren't selling webcams. There was a time that we weren't selling like GPU cards and everything. And then sooner or later, we all kind of jumped onto it and tried our first thing. And look, we'll hold your hand because we're well aware that all of you that are on the show tonight, you come at this from a different place, right? Phil and Jenny at Chips, they've been in it for a long time. It's great to hear as well that you're paying all the rent rates and all your fixed costs from your recurring revenue. That's like fantastic. And I think you can start with some simple products, right? I love what Phil cited there with just backups, right? Everybody's got one of these devices that they need to back up, and they got family pictures and photographs. Everything's digital. You know, you can sell a simple backup license from Dropsuite that will allow people to file, sync, and share. Costs a couple of quid a month. It's not Dropbox that can be hacked. It's secure. It's safe. Because the reason people go to Phil and Jenny in their locality to get what they need at Chips is because he's the trusted advisor, right? They trust all of you. So all across the country, that's why you're successful at what you're doing. You're not a shed. You're not a big brand. You're a small, local, trusted advisor that gives great service. So take advantage of that and start feeling your way with some of these services. You know, we've got no minimum billing. You can pay as you grow with us. But your wingman, you'll be allocated one when you sign up with us, will help you grow your business and to navigate the challenges that you have. So great advice there from Phil. Please reach out to us. We're not a big, although we're a big company, right? We're like a multi-million-dollar business, but we do understand that you guys every day are sitting in the hot seat, right? That's why we use this wingman term that Tom mentioned at the beginning. You are the guys in the hot seat. You're the one that's serving customers every day. We're an indirect organization. We're only successful if you guys are successful. So question for you, Tom. Pete Whitehouse is asking, how easy would it be to move from their current CSP? And for some of you are aware, that's a cloud service provider, okay? So there's lots of companies like Ingram and Tech Data and lots of the other companies out there that offer the same Microsoft services. So he's asking a question, Tom, how difficult is it to move from your current CSP? Why would we want to move? And is there any additional incentive in doing so? So for example, he's saying we can get free partner licenses, etc., to help us move. Tom, what's the great answer that I know you're going to give on that?
Yeah, absolutely, and great question, Peter. Yeah, thank you for that. So zero end user impact. The customer is the person that runs this entire machine that we're talking about. They don't know this change has ever happened. Microsoft doesn't skip a beat with the licensing being turned over. Essentially it'll be dependent on when those billing dates are in that current CSP model. So whenever those end in a nice clean format, we can obviously turn on our licenses at any day in the month, and we'll be able to bill very appropriately with our proration. So that makes that transition very, very easy. As far as all the manual labor required, manual digital labor, so to speak, that's what we have, an entire team of what's known as a channel account manager, or our CAM team, and these are your dedicated wingman and wing women. And so that's what we'll go ahead and attach: a human being, a body, somebody that you know and speak to. Your platform will include a picture of this person. So, you really have a human relationship is really what we like to drive at this organization. What you do with that, the quick and dirty of it is that you go ahead and you send them an invoice of all of their current subscriptions and licenses. I always love to throw all the manual labor on them for this. Let them build out all of the subscriptions in quote format is how it works. And so they queue up everything. Could be several hundred subscriptions, things like that. They're going to go ahead and build everything out, do all of that kind of tedious data entry. All you have to do then is just give that final review. And so that's what we're not going to go ahead and order those licenses and everything, but we do think that you should give it one final check. But yeah, that's exactly how it'll work. You'll just go through, look at it, confirm that, hey, all of that looks correct, and we can convert those quotes directly into production. And again, we tie that provisioning date to the end of whenever that billing happens at wherever they're coming from. And Microsoft doesn't care where those licenses come from lack of a better word. And so if you're transitioning from maybe a direct model, they just went on to Microsoft.com, threw in their own credit card, and they're ready to go ahead and transition to us. It'll work. And then as well, coming from other CSP programs, the end users aren't ever notified. You can swap them out in the middle of the day. As long as you got 10 licenses and 10 users using it, again, Microsoft's not going to make a big fuss about it. They're going to go ahead and keep everybody activated. And so this can happen, right in the middle of the workday, Monday morning, if you really needed to get that changeover done then. So, great question about that. And as far as incentives go, this is, kind of an interesting question there. This is, and again, Philip, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we don't, we don't buy business. We earn business through loyalty, through value. We don't offer, cash or things like that to come over to us. We hope that you see the value that's going to be provided by, it's a free partnership with Pax8. There's no monthly subscription to sign up as a partner. And with that, you get the incredible value of, 24 hours, 7-day-a-week service, leveraging, which is essentially an army of support engineers at this point. We're nearly 100 strong in the UK, 800 bodies total globally. There was an article out recently, I think, that quoted us at growing at about 120 people per month. And so we're going to continue to stack some of the smartest people in the industry behind our support team. And so we'll very likely have seen a lot of those things before, is why we've been so successful in solving that. And it's not just Pax8 saying that we're great at X, Y, Z things. We all, we hold certifications very highly as well. And so myself, I'm an enterprise admin expert. I've got a CompTIA certification, and there's a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me at Pax8. And that's really, really exciting. So we get to be something called subject matter experts. It's kind of an industry term, the SME and things like that. And so, I hope that did a fairly good job there of answering that question there, Philip, unless you had anything else to add on to that.
Yeah, you answered that really well. One of the things we are passionate about, though, is getting you guys as many NFR licenses for your own use as possible, right? And so one of the challenges we have, is Microsoft have been pulling back on things like action packs that we all used to take advantage of at some time back then. Remember that you would get, you know, kind of free in-house licenses to run your business on, and Microsoft have been removing a lot of that, right? So we can't do those kind of incentives. However, I think your biggest risk as a business right now is probably stuff like ransomware attacks and everything else like that coming in at you, right? So one of the things that we can do is give you like free Sentinel-1 NFR licenses that you can use in your business. So just reach out to us, sign up, and you'll be assigned a wingman who will look after you. We can give you some licenses for active EDR. That's the best form of kind of AV protection that you need, so that if anybody gets into your network, you can close them down straight away and protect yourself with some backup stuff. So reach out to your wingman. We'll tell you what services are available. Yeah, call me. I'm sorry that you missed some of the stuff when you joined us. We are telling you that you can resell Microsoft and a whole host of others. We've got 20 vendors that we've got listed here in the UK across a range of services. There's a question from Raheem earlier on that said, what do you guys actually do? Well, we do a whole raft of cloud services because we are the world's favorite cloud marketplace for technology service providers. That's our mission and that's who we are. But we split everything down into a couple of categories. Productivity, which is stuff like Microsoft Office and stuff that would help you do more in your business, Zoom and other things, other licenses of that nature. Infrastructure products like Microsoft Azure and AWS and things like that. Cybersecurity products that we've got, communication products. So we've got 6 categories. If you just hit our website and click on vendors, you'll see the categories there across mobile and across tablet and a range of other devices and services that you can purchase from us. So Peter, Tom, I'll come with this question to you. He's asking a question that we've been asked for the second time today because we were on a launch briefing today, which gives you a deeper dive. And please sign up for that on your website. It's a 90-minute presentation of what our business does. But Peter's saying that he's looking to choose a PSA. Does the RSA synchro integration all work correctly in the UK for tax, etc.? That would add value for us. So I can tell you that the tax piece, Peter, is sorted. And would you answer the rest of the question, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that is the answer to the question. So yes. And so that is something that, yeah, that can be a little bit tricky, is kind of taxing a cloud software, taxing a piece of license that's 30 days. That's kind of a very abstract concept to think about, and even more of an abstract billing situation. So yeah, there was a situation in which that wasn't being captured correctly. We spoke to Synchro. We have a relationship with Synchro. We're able to provide them that feedback and let them know that, hey, we've got a lot of our partners here taking advantage of what is a very great PSA tool. I love the Synchro integration. I work with it very regularly. It's very, very flexible. That the information can be just manipulated on the Synchro platform. If something gets passed across that you don't like, you can literally rip it out, pass it across again, that same information from the Pax8. So nothing's ever permanent when written into it. So yeah, absolutely with that. And I believe, yeah, that the RS there would be for repair shoppers, a little bit more, lower volume for us. We haven't seen as much of it. One thing I will note is Repair Shopper does have what's called the MSP add-on, and that's on the Repair Shopper side of things, in which it would kind of be an additional cost per month. And that's just needed in order to allow for our integration. And so again, being a partner, being a part of Pax8 and everything, getting access to our platform is all entirely free, and that includes our integration. But just unfortunately, we can't control anything outside of that as far as those PSA goes. But yeah, but both of those are fantastic tools, and there's not going to be a limitation of what we pass there, just kind of beyond what's on their side of things. But yeah, again, another great question. Thank you, Peter.
That's pretty good. Raheem also had a question earlier on about smartphones and so forth. Do you have any software or anything like that, what you can use on phones and tablets, like security, backup services, cloud office, and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess this would be vendors, then I guess is how I would interpret that solutions that we sell, rather than accessing our platform through an application and things like that. So I don't believe there's there's not a Pax8 app, I guess, for example, in the iOS or Android store that you'd be able to download. But yeah, kind of answering this from what solutions we do. So Microsoft has something called Intune. kind of keeps things in tune. I don't know, you can think of it from a musical perspective, a very nice MDM, mobile device management, MAM, mobile application management. Pairs very, very nicely with a lot of those Office apps, and so you can get that bundled together. And so I'm an Intune guy myself, and so I'll really start nerding out about all this stuff and really jumping into it if you let me. But then again, we know that ecosystem is bigger, so it is really cool that we are eminently about to launch another product that'll help us out with that iOS and Apple ecosystem. And so what does it look like to manage a MacBook and iOS, just because we know that those are a little bit different in respects to maybe an Android device or a Windows device. And so again, we recognize that we're on the other side of COVID here, and it's the new normal is a new work from home hybrid model, as they call it. The hybrid situation it still refers to that on-prem and the cloud model, but the hybrid in which I've seen the context. And Philip and I had a great conversation about this a few weeks ago. Hybrid models now being used in the context of work from home and work at the office. And so how do I take a smartphone like this and access my personal data, but also my company's personal data, my Teams and my Outlook? We leverage this technology internally. We use Intune for this. I have my Teams and my Outlook for my Pax8 account on my phone. That's convenience. That's awesome. That means that I can go out and about. If I'm transporting between sites or something like that, I can plug in my AirPods, attend a meeting in audio format only. Somebody sends me an email, I can pull it up very quickly, and it's on a secure encrypted container. And so that's what I won't go into the nuts and the bolts technology. But again, that's what my day-to-day job is. Give me a call. Let's schedule out an hour. I'll walk you through how all this technology works, what the licensing model looks like. And yeah, you touched on those NFRs. And so NFRs, for those out there, not for resale, IURs, internal use rights. These are licenses that the vendors are happy to provide you free, oftentimes unlimited, unlimited time or large quantities, 10 mailboxes worth of backup or 10 endpoints, they can be protected. Use this technology internally. You use it for your own systems. Get very comfortable doing it. Doesn't cost you anything. Again, doesn't cost you anything to sign up, doesn't cost you anything to turn it on, but then you can try out this technology and really get going for it. Being a little bit different than a trial. A trial does expire typically after 30 days, and then it's either no more software or go ahead and pay us for it. The IURs and NFRs through Pax8 are incredible, for lack of a better word. And they do differ from product by product. So again, just let us know where you'd like to break into that sphere, and we can give you all the information you need on it.
Okay, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty much answers that question. If you guys who are watching do have any more questions about how Pax8 can help you, as in what services they offer, whether it's regarding Microsoft Office, or Microsoft 365, or whatever you want to call it these days, to anything cloud related, they should be able to answer it for you. So make sure you ask in the chat, and that way, obviously, we'll be able to answer your questions. Also, they do have a competition going. I'm just going to put the link in chat again. So basically, if you click the link in the chat or go to, let me get it up on the screen, to the SurveyMonkey page, which is surveymonkey.com/r/tech, the number 4 techs, that will allow you to get entered to win one of 10 merch packs and Deliveroo vouchers. So you get t-shirt, notebook, socks, pen, and basically £40 worth of Deliveroo, which you can use for, obviously, getting your favourite takeaway and so forth on Sunday before the football's on, or whenever you want to do it. I think you have a week from the receipt of the email which you've registered with to actually use it. So it'd be a good time to use it on the actual Sunday night. Right, let's have a look. We've got a couple of questions coming in now, so let me just highlight them on the screen. So we've got Chris saying, do you run any monthly webinars on specific products so that we can see an overview of them?
Yes, sorry.
Or we both. Or, no, you take it, Philip, and then I'll catch up.
Good. Apologies. I don't want to talk over you, Tom. But yes, we do run monthly webinars. There's a link just been posted by Phil there in the chat for you. The great way to get started with us is to attend a launch briefing. You just missed one this afternoon, 3 o'clock. But we do a monthly one. The next one is coming up on August the 5th. So if you go to that page and register, it's a 90-minute presentation that will talk you all about the benefits, the promotion, etc. that we've got, and we will always reward and thank you in an appropriate way with some swag and some socks and some t-shirts and everything that we'll send with our compliments for registering. And unfortunately, you have to log on and listen to the whole thing and be there at the end as well. So we do, value your time in terms of the way that we do that. And something I wanted to add, if I may, while some of these questions are coming in, and then I'll flick across to you again, Tom. What we're seeing a lot of retailers do at the moment, Phil, is we're seeing a lot of people, in order to get around the security issues around stuff like Gmail or kind of free email accounts that are out there, what we're seeing a lot of retailers do is taking advantage of the fact that a domain is so cheap, right? You can go to GoDaddy right now, and lots of you right now are aware that you can buy a domain for like, 4 or 5 quid a year. What they are doing is offering that to their customers, right? So why don't you just offer that maybe to a family? So that, Phil, you could have, say, Griffiths-family.co.uk if it's available, and then put that and attach it to your Microsoft Office 365 tenant. And back to Tom's Intune comment, supplying each member of the family with an Office 365 basic account, right? It's £3.80 a month. And so say you're doing a 5-pack for a family of 5, bundling that with AV and the domain. Some retailers are charging out there $69.99 including VAT. You heard me right. That is like a 40% margin. $69.99 including VAT, and including 24/7 support in it that they can come on email. But what you're doing is you're getting that customer into a monthly subscription because they're getting that email service or that backup service or that Office Student and Teacher Edition from someone else if they're not buying it from you, right? So it's a way for you to bundle these products, get into the market, and as well as that, take advantage of the Intune products as well. Because if you've got young kids and teenagers and everything, you can lock up the device and make sure that, no emails are being sent to the wrong people, and, protect your children and all of that kind of stuff that's going on with it. So we've seen a lot of that coming through, Phil, as a way to, differentiate, the retailers are using to differentiate themselves from the sheds.
Okay, that pretty much answers that one. One of the questions what have been sent through on, private chat, I'm not sure why they don't want the name to be shown, to be honest with you, but it was regarding Microsoft Office again. Basically, do you give the option of basically being able to resell the standard, like the personal or the home versions, or is it just the business versions?
Yeah, I can take that from now. Yeah, right now it is just the business versions of it. So we don't offer the home versions or personal versions, and so that is a great question to ask at the moment. So something potentially that would change in the future. I haven't heard of anything specifically about that. Yeah, just currently the business class of the Microsoft licensing is what we're on. And with that as well, I did want to ensure that we followed up on Chris's question there, just because I think he was looking for a little bit more targeted, per product, or even down to an individual SKU of what something like that would do. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Reach out to your channel account manager. Let us know either what you're looking at as far as a product goes, and we'll put the best expert we've got in front of you for an hour in a one-on-one demonstration. And that can come across at several different ways. And so that might be us and my team sharing my screen and running through a demonstration of how the product works. And or if we have an NFR IUR, we'll turn over the screen share to you. We'll sit in the background. We'll nod our head, say, okay, yep, looks good. Click there, click here. Here's how you deploy it to 10. Here's what maybe a basic configuration looks like, and kind of a detect mode for the first 2 weeks. And then we're going to go ahead and take all the restrictions off and just put it fully into production and kind of help you, roll out those best practices. But also, again, we're not going to steer towards any individual product. And so that's what, I think it was Philip that mentioned product agnostic, product neutral about all this. We want to find out what's the goal, what's the point of it all, the solution of it. And so that's where we're able to see, hey, you are looking at X, but really you might want to be checking out Y or Z kind of stuff, because it's going to be able to do this and that, or it's going to come in at a better price point for the amount of users or the type of technology that you're employing it against. And so that's where, again, where we're coming ahead of our competitors, is we're not just looking to just resell you these exact licensing types. We're looking to fix the problem. We're looking to figure out why that needs to happen, and then put the best solution in place. And so that's what, again, we've achieved a lot of success with that in the United States, and we're very excited to be able to bring that over here to the European region as well.
Okay, that's pretty good. Cornell, I've sent you a private message with what you've asked for. It should be showing up on the Facebook group. It is on my end, but I'm not sure. You might be viewing it on my personal page or something, but you've got the link there. Another question what came in was about VAT. Let me just find it. Where is he? I've lost him now. But oh yeah, Richard Creed, here we go. He says, do you work with non-VAT registered companies? Because obviously there's a lot of independents do stay under the VAT threshold for whatever reason it may be. Probably save 20% a year, probably something along that lines. But do you actually work with them? Do you have to be VAT registered to use yourself?
So as part of the sign-up process, we use some things just to check out your kind of that you are. The toughest thing to work out is this person genuinely a trader or someone? Because what we're trying to do is protect your margin, right, guys? So is somebody a genuine trader or are they an end user trying to get trade prices? So we go through a bit of work. So VAT check is one way for us to do that. If you're a limited company and you've got a registered company number, that's easy. But when you sign up, if you can't fill in those fields, we will still follow it up. If you've got a website, you know, that will all help. Basically, we want to check out that you're legitimate. But yeah, if you're a limited company, a sole trader, a partnership, VAT or non-VAT registered, we really don't care. We just need to work out and just need proof that you're a bona fide company. So if you've got accounts with other companies, that will all help, and we'll take that. I'll pick off as well two other questions if I can that have just come in. Phil, one from Facebook. This is Chris Hodgkiss saying, I'm an existing customer, just need to understand the benefits of the products, etc. I would say if you're an existing customer, reach out to your wingmate. You will be allocated a named wingmate who looks after you. So if you just phone up the main 0800 number and get to speak to anyone, we'll be able to find you on our system if you're an existing customer, and they'll be able to tell you who that wingmate is for you. And that's the best way for you to understand and point you in the right direction. And then one from a YouTube watcher that is asking, if I was a new business and wanted to set up some cloud services, what do Pax8 offer to someone who doesn't know much about cloud services? What could you offer for a small business that's still in the early stages? So there's two parts for this. I'll give you the first part, and then Tom's going to answer the second part of it. So the first part of it, the best way to get going is with us is to sign up and understand, get your account and everything open so you can trade with us. And then the second thing that we'd advise you to do at roughly the same time is to sign up for a launch briefing. The link was there in the chat earlier, and that will help you understand in 90 minutes the benefits of working for us and how our business helps to serve you. So you start with launch briefing, but then we've got two other tools that we help partners get to grow their business. We do what's called mission briefings, and we do boot camps. And we've got a mission briefing coming up in September. So Tom, why don't you tell everyone briefly what they can expect at a mission briefing and what can they expect at a boot camp?
Sure. So a much more deeper dive into these aspects as well. So that's what that launch briefing is going to be. The overall, the big picture. Hey, what exactly is Pax8? But what can I expect from it? So that's what you're going to get out of that launch briefing. The mission briefings. These are going to be geared towards the.
Okay. I'm not sure what went off. Did you have that same noise problem?
I did.
Philip? Yeah, that was Tom. I don't know what. It sounded like his microphone was stuck. Let me just turn him back on, see if it's managed to sort it. Oh. Okay, Tom, if you want to try talking now.
Okay, he's talking.
So, I'll tell you what, we'll go over to you, Phil. I'll ask you some questions, and then we can come back to him in a minute. So hopefully he's able to log back in. So, yeah, I think Richard's crew, we all heard that. And yeah, I thought my computer frozen for a second, and it was that sort of like noise.
I thought it was a ship passing.
So, yes, let me turn him back on. Let's see if his mic sorted.
All right. Can you guys hear me there? I'm sorry about that.
I can hear you now.
Believe it or not, yeah, Bluetooth devices compared to multiple devices at the same time there. So apologies, had that still connected up to my phone there coming in. Mission briefings, where was I back there? So mission briefings, right back on it, is going to be more geared towards sales. Hey, I've got Microsoft now. I don't know what to do with it. How do I have a conversation with my customer about that? And that's where the mission briefing is going to be about a half-day event, totally free to sign up for. You come in, we'll teach you how to sell. And so that's what, yeah, education enablement is one of the fundamental tenets of Pax8. And and we address that situation on several different fronts. And so whether it's documentation created by us, documentation that we get from the vendors, we do have things back in the United States that will eventually be rolling out here in the next couple of months and years as well, as far as getting you in touch with your peers, maybe putting you into a room with other similar business models and things like that, and just let you talk to each other. So learn, don't hear it from us, hear it from yourselves, hear it from the community, and so we can start facilitating some of those conversations. And again, those mission briefings are going to be fantastic for learning how to sell, learning how to pair a Microsoft license with a backup, with a continuity, with the security, and things like that as well. And then you have the other half of the equation, and that's the technology. That's the deep dive into it. So that's what the boot camps are all about. And yeah, kind of that boot camps, harkening back to lots of push-ups, lots of technical works and chin-ups. These are 2-day events. They're technical deep dives. Right now they come in 3 different flavors as we have them. So we've got one on M365, the Microsoft 365 package, and so what does that, the Office apps and all those add-on products around it, including Azure Active Directory, information protection. There's a whole section on Intune. We do about a 2.5-hour deep dive onto Intune for one of the modules. And then the other 2 are very exciting as well. So we've got an Azure boot camp and Azure boot camp. So if you don't know anything about Azure, that's where you get started. Come into it. We'll help you get it stood up. You can ask some questions. You can talk to the peers. Oftentimes we invite our own partners onto those calls as well. So we'll have several, Pax8 partners talk about their experiences with this product. So again, that you're not just hearing it from us, you're hearing it from the community. And then most recently as well, just to talk about how we're continually growing and growing forward. There's a little bit more complex licensing called the Microsoft Dynamics. We're launching a Dynamics bootcamp. And so if you're just really wanting to customize out, really start taking some of that ERP and things like that and put that together for customized dashboards, we've got experts and things like that available. And so definitely reach out to us about some of those mission briefings and boot camps. Keep an ear to the ground, because we're going to be continuing to do different live events and things like that as well. Come up and talk to us at trade shows, where we're going to be very, very present in all the places you would expect to find somebody like us. There should be a little Pax8 booth and a little cloud icon and things like that somewhere that you should be able to seek out. If you ever see us in person, we love chatting it up. Doing it digital is great. We're very much a human company, and so we'll have a conversation about it.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Got another question. What's coming on messages? It's basically, what's this wingman thing you keep talking about? Is it like a special form of a account manager? What do you get having this so-called wingman?
Yeah, so as I said right at the beginning, we're an indirect organization, right? You guys are in the hot seat every single day, up and down the country. You guys are serving customers and businesses with all the products and services and repairs and technology advice that they need. So our job, and we use this phrase, distribution is broken, right? Distributors have traditionally just been 2 things for businesses, right? When I was running a retail store, and when I had a break fix business back in the day, I know what it is to be in your shoes. I would despise a lot of the distributors, because all they would do is, I'd have to shop around on price and try and, get this, get that. But basically, they just were a bank and a warehouse for me. That's all they were. There was no value add in terms of help and advice. I'd sometimes have configuration problems. I'd sometimes have, can you help with this? And I'm like, nah, we just shift the box, right? And I don't know if that's changed, but that was my experience back then. So the founder, John Street, of our business, created this business because of that. That's where he came up with the idea that it shouldn't be like that. It should be a great experience for people to buy products and services from a distributor, right? And so we use this term wingman. Wingman is a spirit, and so we've got it's basically our message, our way of communicating. We give you a named account contact, and it reflects the fact that wherever you're going in your hot seat, we're right behind you. We've got your back, and that's the kind of, if you go to our website, you'll see we use wingman all over the place in terms of the way that we go to market with our communication.
Okay, I think that pretty much answers that. And to answer that question about distribution, there is quite a few distributors which are still like that, to be honest with you. They just want to ship boxes. And if you have any questions, you're lucky to get an answer other than, yeah, we sent it you, that's about it. If you need to get anything done, please contact contact whoever it may be who made the product. Also got a question as well. Let me just drag all these questions what I've got on here. It's basically, what is Pax8 Pro? So what makes it different than the platform experience?
Okay, so Tom is going to give you a bit of a rundown on this in a moment, but I'm going to answer the question simply because there's a lot of, particularly when we launched here in the UK, there's a lot of people been saying, hey, you know, Pax8, you know, they want £200 a month off of you. So just as I said to you right at the beginning, that is not true. We provide all of our services, including all the PSA connector, all of what you see on launch briefing and on the demonstration that you saw from Tom earlier, free of charge. All of that synchronization, all of the deployment, all of that that's inside a Pax8 standard, as we call it, is free of charge. However, if you're supporting businesses and you're looking after their security and want to know the security posture of the business, how secure they are them, there's lots of things that you would want to do, which is maybe, you know, is multi-factor authentication. I hope you've all got multi-factor authentication switched on for everything, particularly your Facebook and your Instagram and all of that kind of stuff. You know, for those of you that are unfamiliar with it, it's multi-factor authentication, sometimes called two-factor authentication, where the moment you log into a website, they text you a 6-digit code that you have to type in or use a product like Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator, etc., as part of it. So that's MFA. So you want that switched on. And as well as that, you want to make sure that you've removed administrative rights from some users. Otherwise, hackers can get in and they can create ghost users, etc., and have a lot of that going on as well. But as well as that, there's some other features. Talk a little bit, Tom, about cloud assessment tools that are in there for people that are serving business and what they can get from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cloud assessment tool is a very, very unique report, as we found, a custom report that we've built. We'll run this against an individual Microsoft customer, and we'll pull back some really great data on it. So we're going to be able to take a very digestible look at their licensing, and again, you know, translate it in very plain language. And so you can sit and have a conversation with a customer that maybe doesn't care at all about the technology, but they do want to know exactly, you know, which licenses and maybe get a little bit more read on what's going on with that. And so we're able to present that licensing in a very digestible format. But what really is, you know, puts this report above everything else is that we add a security component to it. And so those of you familiar with the Microsoft sphere may know of something called the Microsoft Secure Score. This is kind of gamification, as they call it. Microsoft will give you a certain number of points for having a certain number of security things enabled. And that's like having MFA turned on, restricting the number of those super users that Philip's talking about. We don't want to give everybody the whole keys to the castle. We want to restrict that down. There should only be 1 or 2 people with keys to every room, and then very much kind of those restrictive permissions into it. You know, and then we're going to be able to have those reads on who has MFA kind of in very general numbers. And so this is not only great for your existing book of business, being able to have those conversations with your existing customers, very, very easy to prospect for new business. And so that's what's very, very cool about this tool is you don't necessarily need to be in charge of this account. And so that's what, many of you wondering, how do I break into the sphere? You run this Microsoft Cloud Assessment report. You send them a short little link that they give a permission. We run the report in a couple of seconds, and then it's what that generates and comes back. That's when you sit down on a screen share or go in person with this customer and talk about what this report spits out. You know, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, it looks like you guys only have a 5 or 10% MFA adoption rate. You know, come over to me, and this is my game plan to get you guys at an 80, 90, 100% adoption rate for MFA. Let's go ahead and talk about the ways we'll, you know, minimize the attack surface, some of the fun language we're going to use in security and things like that, make you maybe less of an ideal target, so that, you know, malicious actors between that customer look at your customer, they look at another customer, they just go to that other customer to give all their you know, kind of attacks towards, because this is too much of a hardened target. They've been locked down too much. It's just not worth my time to try to break into it. And so you make yourself unappealing. And so it can be very, very valuable reporting from that aspect. And then there is kind of a third component. So Philip talked about great visibility into that security, kind of a great report you can run. But then we're also going to do Microsoft user management. So you saw me go through the ordering process. I'm ordering just a license. It is just a mailbox. But what do I have to do with that mailbox? What do I do with it now that I've got it? I have to create a user. I have to tie in that user to that mailbox. I have to assign that license. And maybe that user is on our finance team. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to need permissions to talk to their finance team. They're going to need access to the SharePoint site that holds all the finance documents and things like that. And so you're going to be able to start doing those things, and can do those things directly out of the platform today with Pax8 Pro. And again, these are additional features layered on top of already, a very, very great experience, as we call it. The standard Pax8 comes with more than enough bells and whistles to get you started. So again, not going to cost anything to be able to get started with Pax8 and everything. And then again, if you do hit that certain volume with Microsoft, where it's a nightmare to sign in and out of Partner Center to 20 different customer accounts to check that global admin status. We'll aggregate everything on one screen, that kind of multi-tenancy. You hear a lot about the single pane of glass. I think that's almost a utopian dream that I'm even working away even talking about that, because I don't think that anybody truly will ever achieve that single pane of glass. But we're certainly going to remove a lot of panes of glass, where we're going to minimize the amount of panes of glass that you're flipping between, and being able to do a lot more with a lot less. And maybe not needing to be technically savvy. You don't have to be a tier 2 or tier 3 tech to look at this stuff. You just have to be able to log into our website, and then you're going to have everything presented right in front of you. And so we're going to put some easy buttons in front of you, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. To answer Frism X's question from YouTube, you're having issues registering. The contact information is on the screen. Just in case you're listening to the podcast version, customers can call 0800 335 7298 free of charge, or hit the chat button at the bottom left of the pax8.co.uk website. Okay, so if you're having issues, that's the best way to get hold of them. Otherwise, if you have issues still, let us know in chat, and I'll pass your details over to Philip or Tom in the future if you're watching at a later date and they're still having issues, for whatever the reason may be. And I hopefully they'll be able to sort you out. Right, another question what came in was, why should members of Tech for Techs basically attend one of your launch briefings, and when is the next one?
So the next one is August 5th, and what we try to do as much as possible, as Tom talked about there earlier, is to help you be more successful at what you do, right? Technology is moving fast. There's always new products and services out there. Microsoft are changing things like every 15, 20 minutes. So we know exactly what all the vendors are doing. And we provide all the training to our wingmates that look after you every single day on that. So what we try to do with launch briefing is condense a pile of information down into a 90-minute session that helps you really understand, because cloud services, if you've not got involved in it, can be really complicated and you get really lost easy. So we start with some basics about an introduction to cloud services, how we can help build your business, and that 90-minute launch briefing takes you through a couple of kind of sections of the launch briefing. Tom's there that will talk you through the portal. We've also got a partner that's usually on with us who will tell you kind of all the reasons and benefits that they found in dealing with us, but it's designed as a place to get you started so that we're not wasting your time, and you can just log on 90 minutes and get it all done. So the next one is coming up on August the 5th, but I have had a partner email me directly. I'm on LinkedIn, and I suppose Philip is one of the problems of having my name Philip spelt the Welsh way, Phylip Morgan, P-H-Y-L-I-P, Morgan. I'm pretty much the only one on Google. So if you Google me, I come top for all of it. So somebody just messaged me and said, hey, trying to sort out for launch briefing. And there's nothing there. And indeed, I've gone and checked it myself, but it should be fixed by the morning for you listening online to do that. So hopefully those catching on catch up, we'll have on demand, we'll have fixed the problem before they even get there.
That's pretty good then. Right, okay, so let's go on to some of the more, business related questions actually. This one's for you, Philip, and basically what advice would you give MSPs, or let's just say someone who's into retail or repairs, who are sort of wanting to move over to that side of things? What sort of things would you advise to get their name out there basically?
Yeah, it's a really good question. The toughest thing I think that a lot of us have, definitely when I was running my retail business, Phil, is like the door opens at like 8 a.m. or whatever. Most of us are in there at 7 a.m. kind of getting clearing, stocking, facing up, doing all of that stuff that we do to get our store looking as swift as possible. And then it's like non-stop. We work through lunch, we do everything. We're on our feet all day. We never get to sit down, right? You know, been there, done it, got the t-shirt in terms of doing that. So what we try to do is provide you with as much help and information to take the weight off of you, particularly in the area of marketing. So through the training that's available of mission briefings and the boot camps that we do, and as well as that, if you go to the blog part of our section of our website, we got lots of help and advice around contracts and everything else like that, and how to approach cloud services. We've got lots of tools that we provide you to help you get your brand out there. So what we always suggest is, you know, if you're not doing social, look, all of you are on here right now, okay? So if you're thinking social doesn't work, you've just answered your own question because you're listening to my voice right now and watching us on screen, right? Some people think, well, people don't do Facebook, people don't do Twitter, they don't do LinkedIn, they don't do like YouTube. You're all on it right now watching us. So I would encourage you as well to get on social and get your brand out there. Ask for customer reviews. Start pushing your brand out there, because there's nothing like the customers that say thank you to you when they come in store. And I don't know if you do this, Phil. I'd be curious for me to turn the tables and even ask you a question back. Okay. One of the things that we started doing in our business was when a customer said, thank you very much for helping us out, we would cash in on that. They'd take the time to thank us. And I would turn around to them and say, hey, would you do me a favor? Would you give us a Google review, or would you give us a Facebook review? 90% of them say, absolutely will. I didn't even know you were on Facebook or whatever. Can I ask a question of you, Phil? Is that something you do at your business when somebody comes and thanks you?
We do.
Ask them for a review.
Yeah, basically we do ask for a review or a recommendation, especially if someone's asking, say, oh, can I give you a tip or something like that? We usually say, what we want you to do, Ro, keep the money, just let a friend know or review us or something along that lines. But not only that, what I'll do is even go a step further. When I'm actually at a customer's house, if I'm on site, before I leave, I will basically bring up the Google review page, basically, and just say to them, right, if you want to leave us a review when I've gone, feel free. All you've got to do is type the name in there and press submit or whatever it may be. So, yes, I do. And it does help. You can look up and so forth for our reviews. And again, it's one of those things, make sure, obviously, the customer's happy first, because there's no point telling someone who's unhappy.
Yeah,
but you shouldn't be getting those sort of customers anyway. But yeah, so in basics, yes, I do.
Yeah, and so to your point, to the point of the question, right? The best way to get your brand out there is to be intentional about it, right? So not to get your head down in the business every day that you're doing the repairs. I get it to that, but dedicate a little bit of time. When you're closing and locking up in the night and rolling down those shutters, ask yourself, right, what have I done today on social that's going to take my business forward? And because it only takes one click, one share. What am I doing? So maybe just put 5 minutes, that you're going to update a Facebook, if you've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you do, just do like one post a day. You can even outsource it to companies out there will do that. Just ping me directly, if you want me to point you in the direction of some marketing companies that will actually do a lot of that for you. And you're paying like as little as 150 to 200 pounds a month, and they'll manage all of your social feeds and everything and get other people's content out there. So, social is a massive one that can bring value to your business, because not many people are doing the Yellow Pages ads anymore, Phil, because they don't work, right? Yes,
no, I did the Yellow Pages when I first started, and I think it went downhill after that, to be honest with you. But one thing I would suggest about if you are doing social, as Philip says, obviously push your social, but don't make it all salesy. Don't put every single post, oh, sell this, sell that, sell this, we've got this for sale, this for sale. We usually do like 4 posts of tech advice, maybe even jokes or something related to what we do, and then one sales post afterwards. So we sort of dilute the sales post, because people will just get bored of the constant sales posts every day of the week, and they'll just unfriend you, unsubscribe, or whatever it may be. Same if emails as well, and so forth. Richard Saini says he doesn't do Yellow Pages, but I'm in the phone book. I didn't even know the phone book was still around, to be honest with you, but that's a new one on me, but there we go.
But can I dive in as well, Phil? I'll tell you what's a big one that's taking off at the moment is WhatsApp for Business, right?
Okay.
That is a huge one. So if there's any listeners here, that's a big one that's taking off at the moment, because like pretty much every one man and his dog is on WhatsApp these days. So you can get a WhatsApper. So you have to have a mobile phone that you are using just to set it all up. But then you can use WhatsApp Web, and you can answer all the customers' queries and everything when they come in there. You know, and the great thing is it tracks the whole history with that particular customer. So if that same customer WhatsApps you in kind of 6 months' time and comes back and says, hey, the unit that I bought off you a couple of weeks back, I'm having the same problem with the graphics card or whatever, you've got the transaction in WhatsApp that you can go up. So definitely check out WhatsApp for web. Appreciate that you're in the phone book, but it'd be really good if you could do WhatsApp for Business as well. And even grab the WhatsApp logo, stick it out your store, stick it out front and say, hey, WhatsApp us if you've got a problem. Can we help you?
Yeah, that's pretty good advice there, I must admit. It's something I haven't looked at, the WhatsApp Business, so I'll definitely be having a look at that one tomorrow, maybe straight after the show. So, right, let's have a look. Okay, some of these questions of people coming from LinkedIn before the show and email as well is, what's the best piece of sales advice you've received in your career? I'm presuming that one's for Philip, but again, we can go to Tom as well if you want.
So the best sales advice that I ever had is from a guy that basically gave me this piece of advice. I don't know who the quote. I think the quote is from Zig Ziglar, right? And it was, to be honest, Phil, a bit of a life-changing moment for me. And the quote from Zig Ziglar is simply this: if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. Something's got to change if you want something to improve. And it was a bit of a light bulb moment for me. I was a young guy, you know, loved tech, started a business when I was 19 years of age. You know, that's my story. I've been in business for 30 years. And it was just a case of, do you know what, do something different every single day, right? And that's why a lot of people are listening to us right now. And that's why people are part of Tech for Techs, right? There's a whole community that you're helping each other. But do something different every day. Learn something new and move your business forward. Because if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
No, that's some pretty good advice there, to be honest with you. I've not heard that saying before, but it does add up. So, right. So, let's have a look. What else have we got? We saw on the Buzz news about Resello, I think it is. Can you expand on what that means for Pax8 presence in Europe?
Dom, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it as well. So again, yeah, Pax8 here, looking to expand our footprint and not looking to do it next decade. We're looking to do it sooner rather than later. And so we, have taken the steps this week to formally announce our acquisition of Resello. And so they, are an organization that will allow us to be able to sell Microsoft to the greater European continent. And so that's what Microsoft kind of being that core product inside of that. That doesn't just mean Microsoft with that acquisition. That does mean that we can still leverage our global agreements with several of our other vendors to be able to start releasing our line card here, but start being able to release multiple products, be able to get folks using our platform, and transacting in your currency of choice, in your language of choice as well. So that's what, as an American that grew up with English and US dollars, I know that we have this, the perception of how that all works. And so I won't go into that. And what I'll mean by that is that we're here to transact in the language of the locals and the locality of it all. And so that's what our ability to be able to do that is going to be coming sooner rather than later. And so again, yeah, very, very excited about that. And yeah, Philip, I don't know if you want to expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, you answered it really well. It allows us, instead of just saying, hello, how can we help you? We'll do, I don't know, willkommen, guten Nacht, we'll do it all. So we get access to be able to sell into 40 countries across EMEA and specifically give support in 15 languages right now.
Right, that's pretty good then. Right, well, it's getting up to about an hour and a half into the show, so if anyone else has got any questions, send them in now, and we'll sort of quick fire them back and forth for them, and basically try and get all this done as soon as possible. So more of the questions I've got come in, I think this one's for you, Tom, is how is the Pax8 platform secured?
Perfect. So yeah, it is, hosted on a very, very secure infrastructure. So it is one of those, larger infrastructures in which you'd probably recognize the name and everything. So it's not a server in the basement of Colorado by any means that's, susceptible to disaster. And so it's again, the actual structure of our platform, the uptime is going to be very, very high as far as all that goes. And then, yeah, 2FA and MFA enabled. And then, yeah, you don't even have to know your credentials at all if you employ SSO, single sign-on, seamless single sign-on there. So you can just leverage that one pair of credentials. Oftentimes that's Microsoft, the Azure Active Directory, providing that identity management. Leverage those credentials to keep you signed in to all your websites with the click of a button. End users love this. Yeah, that's what, how many passwords do I know? Two. I know two passwords. I know the password to my password manager, which is a very, very good idea. And then the password to my computer. And so that's what I love, that I don't have to remember 15 different passwords. And so it is kind of maddening to do it, and extremely secure to be able to do that as well. And yeah, one thing that I would like to touch on as well with that is you had kind of asked Philip about the sales advice, and I don't typically wear a sales hat, but one of the best pieces of advice that I've learned here on the job is the power of listening. And so that may seem hypocritical coming from me, just because I love to talk. I don't know if that was evident through talking to you guys here. You didn't pick up on that. I love speaking. I love projecting and going forward with it. But wow, is there power in just going silent, and not just going silent so that you're already preparing your response to the thing they said, but really actively listening to what they're talking about. And oftentimes, if you let people just go on, just start rambling on, myself included, you can gain a lot. So again, the power of listening is maybe one of those things there that I would say is probably the best piece of sales advice. And yeah, believe it or not, start employing, the way that you see, and that's going to be something that I'd had very positive takeaway from.
Yeah, I'm going to say listening is definitely a good thing. Even if it's something like a show like this, you'll probably listen to it or watch it through the first time, and certain things you might miss or you might not understand or whatever, but then you can listen it back. Hint, hint, we've got podcast as well, so you can do it while you're in the car. You can listen back to it, and you can actually hear and learn a lot more about it, and it probably sink in the second time. But yeah, listen to your customers, anyone, to be honest with you. And it's good advice when you're married as well. Always listen to your wife. So, right, let's go quickly on. So white labeling stuff. Do you guys have any white labeling features or anything like that, so where you can rebrand the products or services?
Yeah, absolutely. So our platform is white labelable, and so we can go ahead and replace this, the generic Pax8 logo that you guys can see in the background here of our show, is the default icon that'll show up for your home screen. But of course, you most definitely will be able to put up your branding, your logo. And it goes deeper than that. So other than, flavoring the font color there. So if you're, into the blues or the greens or the yellows or the reds, you can actually match that text and make that, kind of pop out much more for that self-service customer aspect. Just for yourself, it feels a little bit more like home, and it's your branding and your colors, your team, things like that, to use a sports analogy for it, down to and including the tab across the top. And so what is the tab on all these various Microsoft tabs? Is say companies, Pax8, product configuration. I'm looking at a couple of different ones I have there, or does it say your business's name? Does it say your branding on top of it? And then the URL is the final component of that. So quite literally, yourbusiness.mycommandconsole.com will be that customer's login and can be your login to our platform as well. So again, we're more than happy to have you remove Pax8 from the equation as far as presenting this to not only yourselves, but again, yeah, those self-service customers.
Okay, that's pretty good. Right, let's just quickly go through these ones. Let's have a look. We've got I work mostly off hours at weekends, holidays. Is Pax8 support available all through those times, or is it just like limited hours or something like that, 9 till 5 or whatever it may be?
Yeah, no, great question. And so that's something that, we don't always see some of our competition achieve that, or it goes down to the skeleton crew on off times, things like that. Who's going to be working Sunday night? I mean, who's really going to be doing everything? I'll tell you for a fact, Pax8 will be working. Human beings will be available to take your phone call. We don't just turn on our answering machine and tell you, we'll call you back in a week, or leave it with me and we'll get back to you. None of that happens at all. And so whether it, is a bank holiday here, United Kingdom having a lot of bank holidays, early summer, things like that, that the American crew will be working. And then, the American crew takes off a holiday, our team will step in. And so again, having that global presence, having that global footprint means that no matter the time of day, the time of the week, and very, very soon, whatever language you need to have that conversation in, that's where we're going to be able to achieve, the world-class support. And so again, really can't speak highly enough about it. There's something called the NPS out there. And so this is a score metric that runs from -10 to 10, if you're not familiar with that. And so it's one of those very, very easy to achieve. Anything less than, I think, 8 or 7, it's just, not really worth your time. And then achieving higher that, you really get into, appreciation from the customer base. And so, don't take my word for it, take our community's word for it. And so those NPS scores for our support are absolutely world-class. And I will brag about that because we are one of the best in the industries in doing that. So,
I think that sounds pretty good. Right, I think we're coming to the end of the show. We don't seem to be getting any more questions coming in. So what I'm going to say now is basically, do you guys have any advice or anything extra you would like to throw in there before we end the show? So we'll start off with you, Tom, and then we'll go over to you, Philip.
And this is a reminder of something that you guys already know, something that's been accelerated in the post-COVID era. Every business is a technology business. Doesn't matter if they don't deal with technology, they are a technology business. They are leveraging email. They are trying to access stuff through their cell phone. They are trying to do stuff on their tablet while they're sitting in bed. Whether or not they know they're a technology, I'm telling you, they are. If you're going to do business in 2021 and beyond, you are going to be a technology company. And so that's where you can really start having those conversations with the customer about what that looks like. And while they may be okay today, maybe talk about their 5-year game plan and where they want to go with that. And then again, a little bit of conversation about security and maybe some of the, you never want to sell on fear, so don't sell on fear, but it does, motivate certain conversations about that. I guess that every technology is the technology company is how I'd summarize that there. Just something that is easily forgotten, I guess, in certain realms.
Okay, that nice one. Just a comment from chat. It looks like you've made one person happy anyway, if nothing else. Chris says he has learned a lot tonight. Thank you. So, and again, I'm guessing a lot of the chat has also learned quite a few because there's been quite a few people watching tonight. So that's good to know. Right, over to you, Philip. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like to add in there or any business, sales advice, anything at all.
So it's talk to us, right? The world is changed by communication, right? And I know what it is to be in your shoes. I've run a retail business. I've run an MSP. I've had lots of different businesses in my 30-year career. And that's why I'm here at Pax8, because I get to do this on a global scale to help change things. So talk to us. What are the challenges you're having in your business? How can we take the load off of you? We are the world's favorite cloud marketplace for technology providers. They put us into a category called distributors, but we're not a distributor. We're the new breed of providers that's out there because we're customer focused. We want to help you win. So all we would ask, Phil, of everyone that's part of Tech for Tech, give us an opportunity. Pick up the phone, drop us an email, send us a chat. Tell us what the challenges you're having. And if it's something we can do to help you, we certainly will help you take your business forward.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. I've just got one question coming in, and it's basically the person's asking, is that Philip from the network group?
Yes, I was privileged to spend 8 years at Network Group helping retailers and MSPs then, and so I loved my time there with that community, and I've moved on to do other things then. But yes, that is me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, there we go. Right then, guys, I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Do you guys have any contact details you want to share or anything before we call it a night, other than what we've already had with the phone number and the website?
Yeah, so mine is easy. You can see on screen, it's Phylip Morgan, P-H-Y-L-I-P Morgan. I'm the only one spelled like that on the planet that I'm aware of. Just Google me, and you can get in touch with me, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, find my mobile there. I'm the most accessible person on the planet.
That's pretty good. And he's also in the Tech for Tech group as well, so you can find him in there if you need to. So just tag him in or shout me and say, who's that guy spelt with a weird name? Well, I'll tag him in for you. Okay, so there we go. Right, guys, what we're going to do, call it a night. We will have another show on next Thursday at 8 o'clock. We're in the middle of actually deciding what that's going to be, depending on a few things, but we'll announce that in the week. I'd like to say thanks for everyone for watching. So thank you for joining tonight, especially the ones who've made it all the way to the end. And thank you if you listen to this on the podcast or the show later. I'd also like to say thank you, obviously, to Tom and Philip for joining us tonight and let us know what Pax8 is. But I would suggest all you guys who are watching is you give it a look, give it a try. It's reoccurring income. Well, I'm not going to say you can retire off it, but it's money what you can have coming in on a monthly basis, and it sort of relieves the stress a little bit when you know you've got a set amount coming in. No matter what, you can be off for a month. You've still got a few £100 or 1,000 coming in, depending on obviously what you're charging. But basically, it just takes that stress off, because even if you have no customers, you've still got that money coming in one way or another. So it's always good. So again, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Philip. And we'll see you all next time. And that is Thursday at 8 p.m. Thanks again, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.